Hey everybody, I'm going to give you some project updates. Here's the 1980 Buick Regal Sport Coupe with the 3.8 drive-through turbo setup. What I'm deciding to do with this car is I've already removed the engine from my 87 turbo Buick, the 274 cubic inch stroker fully built engine. I removed it from the 87 Buick Regal. I removed the 204R transmission as well. What my plan so far is to take all the goodies from the 87, install them in the 1980 turbo Buick, except since the turbo Buick from 1980 had a carburetor, I'm going to go blow-through carburetor with the 274-inch stroker right over here. Here's the 274-inch stroker that I removed from the 87 Buick. It's got the T76 turbocharger, and I'm going to go blow through carburetor on it and put it in the 1980. All right, that's what I plan to do to that. I got a new project car. It's a 1971 Mercury Cougar XR7 with a 351 Cleveland. It's not a perfect car, but it's got some interesting parts to it. 351 Cleveland, 4-barrel carburetor. And what I'm thinking about doing with this is taking the twin turbo Ford 302 engine. That's what it started at. It's bored pretty much to the maximum. And it's got two T04E turbochargers on it. There it is right there. The big old small block Ford V8, which I know can bolt onto the 351 transmission. So what I'm thinking about doing is putting the bored and stroked 302 into the Cougar. Make a twin turbo Cougar. That would be fine, because I'd hate that original 351 Cleveland engine to go to waste, and I would hate to blow that engine by modifying it. So I'm going to take the original 351 Cleveland engine out of this Cougar and put it on an engine stand and save the original engine, because there's not many 351 Clevelands left. So this is my new project, 1971 Mercury Cougar XR7. It needs work. It looks like somebody did some Bondo work on the fenders, but other than that, it seems like a really good car. I'll show it to you a little bit more. It looks pretty nice. I'll open the door. Has a pretty nice interior. And just for fun, I'll start it with the 351 Cleveland to let you hear it. Sounds like it runs pretty good, but rather than modify the factory 351 Cleveland engine, I figured I'd put the 302 in there with 2 turbos, since if the 302 blows, that's okay, because there's many 302 engines out there. There's not too many 351 Clevelands anymore, so I figured this twin turbo 302 89 Mustang GT engine would be a good engine to throw in that Cougar. You know, nice TO4E turbos ×2. It's bored and stroked. 4-barrel intake manifold. Put a good distributor on it. It's already set up for V-belts just like the Cougar, so this could be a good, interesting transplant for the Mercury Cougar. Well, here's the 274 cubic inch Buick engine that I've thought about for a long time, putting it in the 1980 Buick Regal Sport Coupe Turbo, because the original engine is pretty tired. 3.8 carbureted draw-through turbo, and I fabricated it to fit a 600 cubic feet per minute carburetor. It's a Summit Racing carburetor, double pumper. And I fabricated the 87 Turbo Regal turbo to fit this with external wastegate. So what I'm thinking is take the stroker engine and put it in here and go blow-through turbo with the T76 turbo, and take all the goodies off the 1987, including the accessories, the drive shaft, which is set up for 1,000 horse, and take the accessory drive off of it, since it puts the alternator on the driver's side, not the passenger side. So here's the accessory drive. I'll take the exhaust system from the 87 Buick, the gauges and everything, and put it in the 1980. I'll take the radiator too, since it's got a nice electric fan. And what I'll eventually do is sell this 1987 Buick Regal Turbo T Limited as a roller, meaning the person that buys this car off of me can put whatever G-body engine they want to put in here, make it their own. I figure I had enough fun with this car. I want to put everything from this car, except the fuel injection, into 80 Regal. Then we've got this Project 150. I pulled the 302 twin turbo engine out of this because the motor mounts were not even close to lining up, because this was an original 300 straight 6 vehicle. And putting the 302 engine, it bolted to the transmission no problem, but the motor mounts are like almost a foot off of the V8. So it's designed for the straight 6, and I decided, I'll just sell this body. I don't need it. I'll focus on my turbo Buicks, true turbo Buicks, and the new Ford Cougar, well, Mercury Cougar. I traded Old Blue, the 77 Chevy K20 truck. I traded it for the Cougar because the guy with the Cougar wanted a 3/4 ton Chevy square body truck, and I really like that Cougar, so I figured that'd be a nice trade. So I traded straight up for the Mercury Cougar for Old Blue, the K20 Chevy square body. Here's the 1986 300ZX Turbo. I'm still deciding what I'm going to do with this, because after I switched engines and everything, got everything hooked up, it ran for like 15 minutes and then quit. And I haven't been able to start it since, so it's got some really strange problem going on with it. So I'm kind of on hold deciding what I'm going to do with this 86 300ZX Turbo with T-tops. I might just yank the engine and transmission out it and sell it as a roller. Then sell the engine and transmission with the turbo separately, and probably make more money that way, selling it as a roller. So someone could put whatever engine and trans they want in this car and make it fast. Subaru, it still has a no boost issue. It's really strange. I put a different turbo on it, a TD04, and it's getting like no boost. So I figure the catalytic converter that Subaru put before the turbo is the culprit to this problem. So I've got to take the whole turbo, intercooler, everything off, take the wheel off, disconnect everything, and change the up pipe to a better up pipe that doesn't have a catalytic converter on it. Then I'll put a high flow cat on the down pipe, so it'll still have a cat, but I won't have a catalytic converter before the turbo, which is a dumb design from Subaru. Imagine having a cat fail on you. You know, a catalytic converter starts chunking up and clogging your turbocharger. So that was a pretty poor design by Subaru. And a lot of these Outbacks and Subaru Legacies, WRXs also have that design where they have the catalytic converter before the turbocharger, so when the cat fails, it clogs the turbo. So that explains why I don't have any boost. So I've got to work on this car, take up all the everything, remove the turbo, remove the up pipe, and see what's going on with that. Put a different up pipe in it and get it running right again. It still runs and dries, but it gets like no boost. So it's kind of useless right now. So I've got a few projects to continue to tinker with. But I think this Cougar, this 1971 Mercury Cougar, is going to be a fun little project if I put that twin turbo small block Ford in there. So in the comments, if you want, share your ideas what you would do if you were me and you had a 71 Mercury Cougar, 2 turbo Buicks, a 1980 and a 1987 turbo Buick. What would you do to make it better and faster and a better all-around car? Now, just for fun, I picked up a 455 cubic inch Oldsmobile V8, which bolts right into the turbo Buick's transmission. This is a 455 cubic inch V8. I also thought of that as an option for the 87 Buick Regal. So instead of having a turbo V6, have a 455 cubic inch V8 in there. This engine needs to be overhauled, but it has a nice intake manifold by Edelbrock. It's a big block 455 Oldsmobile, and Buick, Pontiac, and Oldsmobile engines all bolt the same bolt pattern. So this engine will bolt right to the V6's transmission. So that's an option for the 87 Buick, to put a 455 cubic inch V8 in it, which I thought would be interesting. So I bought it. I got a good deal on this engine, about $300 for an engine that needs an overhaul, which is not bad. This 455 cubic inch V8 has so much torque, it would really wake up that 87 Buick. So if you were me, what would you do? Here's the 1987 Buick Regal Turbo Hydromatic 200 4R transmission. It's made for Grand Nationals, Turbo Ts, T-types, and whatnot. It's a good transmission. It has a 2800 stall 9-inch torque converter on it. So I'm sitting there debating, what should I do? Should I put that transmission with the 455? Should I put this transmission with the 274-inch cubic inch stroker engine that I took out of the 87 and put it in the 80 Regal? So I've got all kinds of options that I can do. If you were me, what would you do? So give me your ideas in your comments about what you do, what you would do if you owned 2 turbo Buicks, an 80 and an 87, Subaru 300ZX Turbo, and a 1971 Mercury Cougar. So give me your ideas and submit them in the comments below. I want to hear what you guys would do if you were me. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. This is Matt, and you guys take care, and bye now.